Hello and welcome. Good morning, friends. Myself Amit from Plutus IAS, and let us begin the Hindu analysis for 28th of August 2020. So let us begin with our first topic of the day, which is GST gap. The center tells state. So what actually happened that the GST burden, there has been this gap, right? Because of this COVID-19, the GST compensation gap has been there with the center, and the center has said that they will only be able to meet 20%, 22% of the gap with this cess on the GST collections, right? So only 22% of this gap could be is expected to meet. Okay, so they have now told the states to take or borrow from this RBI to fulfill this gap. Okay, so let me give you some background of this entire scenario. That under the GST regime, in my previous the Hindu analysis, I have told you in detail how the GST under what were the norms under this GST, how states were required to compensate for the 5 years. Sorry, the center was required to compensate to the states for the 5 years using that cess on GST on luxury and sin goods. Okay, it was to be on this 14% annual growth basis. Okay, and several experts have of the opinion that the 14% could be, there were some steps like this 14% could be tied back to the GDP growth rate. Okay, and because of this COVID-19 pandemic, it was also suggested that central government could take loans. पर यहाँ पर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने अलग ही स्टेप लिया है. And what the step central government has taken, that they say that this year they are going to face a GST revenue gap of 3 lakh crore. Okay, and only 22% of this gap would be met by this cess on GST. Okay, so they won't be able to compensate the states in a better manner. So what they are suggesting, they have suggested that of the remaining 2.35 lakh crore, which will be the gap after this 22%, the state can meet this gap under two options. Okay, and what they can do, they can borrow from the RBI, and the central government would provide several facilitations to them. So coming back to this point, that the government is saying that out of this 2.35 lakh crore, only 97,000 crore is due to GST implementation rather than COVID-19. तो ये जो GST implementation की वजह से है, इसको compensate या fulfill करने के लिए states केवल इतना लोन ले सकते हैं, just 97,000 crore from the RBI. So this is the first option given to state, that you can borrow only 97,000 crore from the RBI, and they say that the shortfall, to meet the shortfall, and to decide on this option, they have been given the 7 working days, and they will be given several reasonable rate. Okay, from this RBI, then amount could be repaid over 5 years using just cess from the collection of GST. Okay, and they will also be given this 0.5% relaxation under borrowing limits under this FRBM Act. Actually, FRBM Act mandates that state governments this deficit, okay, fiscal deficit of state government should not go beyond 3% of their GSDP, okay, gross state domestic product. So 0.5% relaxation would be there for the states on their borrowing limits under this FRBM Act. The second option for the states is to borrow entire 2.35 lakh crore to meet their needs, and this could also be provided with several facilitations by the RBI. The central government would arrange these facilities for the state governments, and they can borrow and fulfill their current demands, right? So the things are quite complicated now, because the several states are saying why the central government is not borrowing on their behalf. Okay, because the central government has promised that they will compensate the state for any kind of losses, but now they are asking the states to borrow. So the things are quite complicated, and this Congress, the opposition parties have come out with dissatisfaction of this GST Council meeting, saying that the center is thrusting, okay, they are forcing or coercing the states to adopt this majoritarian approach. Okay, so yes, the problems are there should be a kind of consulting approach. The consensus based decision making should be there, which can, because these GST Council is kind of a torch bearer for this cooperative federalism in India. Okay, so better working of these kind of organizations is very much important to ensure that these fundamental basics of our constitution can go a long way to ensure our democracy and stability, right? and for this what is required is a consensus based decision making. So states should be taken on board rather than giving just 7-day window. It could be extended, and several other measures also could be proposed if possible. Okay, moving on to our next topic, which is about the states can have subgroups among SC, ST, says court. So recently a 5-judge bench was formed so that they can ponder upon this reservation thing in states, because what they have come across is that there has been this reservation has been utilized, or the benefits of reservation has been limited to several categories within the caste scheduled caste, right? So they what they want that this trickling down of reservation benefits should take place, and for this the 5-judge bench was created. Actually a 5-judge bench gave its decision in 2004 verdict, और ये बेंच बनी थी जस्टिस ईवी चिनैया केस में, ओके, इन 2004, जिसमें ईवी चिनैया केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट वर्डिक्ट आया था कि स्टेट्स कैन नॉट मेक अ क्लास इन क्लास, यानी कि जो शेड्यूल लिस्ट दी गई है फ्रॉम द प्रेसिडेंट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब लिस्ट, उसके अंडर में डिफरेंट क्लास यूनिलेटरली नहीं बना सकते. दे आर नॉट अलाउड, द स्टेट्स आर नॉट अलाउड टू यूनिलेटरली मेक अ क्लास within a class of members of scheduled caste, as it would lead to tinkering of that precedent list. तो ऐसा मानना है कि वो प्रेसिडेंट लिस्ट से छेड़छाड़ होगी, इसलिए स्टेट क्लास विद इन क्लास नहीं बना सकते हैं. दिस वॉज द दिस 2004 जजमेंट ऑफ ईवी चिनैया केस. ओके, but recently with this new verdict of under Justice Arun Mishra of Supreme Court by this 5-judge bench, they are saying that there has been this $1 million question that how the reservation benefits are trickling down. Can they reach the weakest of the weak in society? Are state allowed to take this qualitative and quantitative measures to bridge the gap or the differences between the classes? Okay, so yes, they have said yes, the states can take such actions. State can take measures for the welfarement of the weakest of the weak, and can make classes within the scheduled caste so that this trickling down of reservation benefits could take place. Okay, so the problem has arisen that earlier a 5-judge bench has given an quite opposite verdict, and now the verdict is quite in a different way. So this issue has been now referred to a 7-judge bench to be decided in a better manner. Okay, so we hope that the reservation, the welfare state concept could be fulfilled as the DPSP claims, the Directive Principles of State Policy, rather than benefiting few societies with some measures, right? Coming to the next topic, which is about Arunachal House to push for 6th schedule status. I also covered this 5th schedule, 6th schedule, and status of special category states under Article 371. Okay, I covered them in a bit detail in my previous The Hindu lecture, and I'm here limiting myself to what Arunachal Pradesh is demanding. Okay, so they are demanding the 6th schedule status, and 60-member Arunachal Pradesh Assembly has been their resolve to persuade the central government for inclusion of Arunachal Pradesh under the 6th schedule of the constitution. And the reason for doing so, they are of the view that the tribals, the PVTGs, the communities in the Arunachal Pradesh, they have not been provided with adequate safeguards for their cultural preservation. Okay, so to provide them more autonomy, okay, to provide them more benefits, and to provide them better facilities, they want this Arunachal Pradesh to come under the 6th schedule. Actually, the 6th schedule consists of only 4 states: Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura of the northeast, and they have the tribal districts in these 4 states have better autonomy in terms of legislation, finance, customary laws, okay, administration. So the Arunachal Pradesh also wants the same for their tribal people. So they are demanding this. They also are demanding that this 22 non-IAS posts in 22 districts should be given for this deputy commissioners. Okay. Then restoration of peace on LAC is the key to ties with India, says India. Okay. Actually, in recently India-China some meeting was held, and China was asking India to keep the big picture in mind. Okay, they want kind of cordial relation over the longer period of time, and they want India to think towards the same goal, bearing in mind the big picture of bilateral ties, putting the border issue at appropriate position. So in short, they want to sideline this border issue and want to improve the bilateral ties. The thing is कि उनका business चल रहा है, and they are doing good trade with India. They are having quite good trade surplus with India. Okay, तो in that scenario वो ये चाहते हैं कि ये economic trade, economic partnership चलती रहे, so that their countries are not at losses, because they have been facing the economic problem, right? They have been facing the kind of recession. They have been facing sanctions from US, Huawei or 24 other companies that got sanctioned yesterday. Okay, then there are other problems all over the world, like project cancellation of Chinese companies has been there in the South Asian and Southeast Asian countries. So these problems are now aggravating for China, and they are in search of allies. So when they want ally, India is actually a kind of natural ally for them if they want so, because they both are emerging countries and need each other's help. So the China is saying that India need to put aside that boundary issue and should cooperate in a better manner, for keeping in mind the big picture. But what India is saying that the efforts could only be taken in a reciprocal manner. Okay, mutual trust should be there, and for this India wants that each and every action should have a reciprocal activity. So इंडिया का कहना सिर्फ सिंपली इतना है कि वी नीड टू रिजॉल्व सच इश्यूज, ताकि फ्यूचर में ये इस तरह से हमारी सोवरेनिटी और टेरिटोरियल इंटीग्रिटी को खतरा ना पहुंचाए. ओके, मूविंग टुवर्ड्स आवर नेक्स्ट टॉपिक ऑफ द डे, विच इज this a no-win situation. So a lot of hue and cry is there for this JEE and NEET exam, and because of this pandemic, this loss could lead to this zero academic year problem. And the government and the Supreme Court actually recently they said that they are not going to interfere with the process, as it is related to the career of student. Okay, and the central government, the Union Education Minister Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank, he is saying that around 17 lakh students have downloaded this admit card, and there is the silent majority which is favoring that exam should be conducted on time. Okay, while the opposition of the view that during this pandemic we are risking the safety, of students, right? So for this, what we need to do, several solutions has been suggested here, like the number of centers are 3,000. Okay, so what problems the students are going to face? First we have to ponder upon them, that there are some transportation services are still lacking in many states, because states have not resumed them, right? Then there are still problems with this accommodation in hotels, as hotels are still closed. Then there could be problems for girls, because especially in villages and tier 3 towns, because their parents may not allow them to travel alone or to travel at all in such pandemic conditions, right? So we have to ponder upon these problems and then to come with solutions, like we can create more number of centers, ताकि एक्सेस आसान हो जाए, लोगों का सेंटर्स तक पहुंचना बहुत आसान हो जाए. Okay, then there could be very strict measures on this the social distancing, and how students are going to take exams, then sanitization, etc. Very strict framework could be formed for this exam, right? And several other alternatives have been suggested. This article is saying that during extraordinary circumstances we may require extraordinary solution. तो हम ऐसा कर सकते हैं that class 12th board marks could be utilized for this NEET exam, right? And the state could be asked to conduct their own exam, or they can go with the class 12th board marks, okay, normalized marks for admissions in state medical colleges. While the NEET, if conducted, they could only be limited to the central institution this year, so that the massive gathering could be avoided. 18 लाख बच्चे जो आने वाले हैं दोनों एग्जाम्स के लिए, this massive gathering could be avoided. क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम इस पेंडेमिक में यही है, this COVID-19 is a communicable disease, so the threat increases with the mass gatherings, right? तो हम यहाँ पर ये कर सकते हैं कि क्लास 12th बोर्ड के हिसाब से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स कैन अलाउ स्टूडेंट इन देयर मेडिकल कॉलेजेस, while the JEE could be done with a nationwide marks normalization process. But several directors of ITJE, they are of the opinion that this would compromise the quality. Okay, so we have to come with extraordinary solution. Okay, and yes, Mr. Pokhriyal have also said that further delay could lead to this zero academic year, and to overcome this problem, such kind of solutions could be taken care of. Okay, we may have to make pragmatic compromises which are inevitable now. So might be we may have to compromise with the quality this year, but we can save a lot of lives, a lot of infection which could take place. तो हमें कुछ extra steps तो लेने पड़ेंगे. Okay, so government should have a concrete plan for this, right? Moving towards our next topic of the day, which is that India can make weapons, or India can be a weapon supplier. Okay, so recently we have seen that a lot many measures have been taken in this defense sector to boost the domestic manufacturing, और मैंने बहुत सारे measures आपको बताए भी हैं. I have told you number of measures in my previous in the Hindu lectures, okay, the Hindu analysis lectures. And let us come to what presently what our Prime Minister is saying. Actually, in a recent webinar, Pradhan Mantri, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, said that India could be Atmanirbhar. India has been the importer for many years, and now we can become an exporter and supply these reliable weapons to our friendly neighbors to consolidate our position. Of being the net security provider in this Indian Ocean region. Okay, because we have quite many littles here, quite many other players in this region. So we can consolidate our position of being the net security provider in Indian Ocean region with this domestic manufacturing. And several slew of steps have been taken for boosting this domestic manufacturing. Like the 74% FDI has been allowed under automatic route, which is first of its kind in this domestic defense process. And then we have this this process of corporatization of Ordnance Factory Board, which would be completed within a year, as said by the various defense experts. Okay, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has said that this corporatization would be completed within a year. Okay, so this would further boost the working and efficiency and technology takeover by these ordnance factories, right? And several other slew of measures have been taken to boost this defense manufacturing, like simplified licensing has been there, then simplifying exports, there has been building of rapport among the allies. Okay, then we are now going to shed our this major defense importer image, and now we are building we have been started receiving order, as Mr. General Bipin Rawat has claimed that India has been receiving requests from various ally friendly countries for this radars, artillery support systems. They are in high demand, and with this corporatization of this OFVs, and we have also earmarked a portion of defense budget. Okay, 52,000 crore has been earmarked in this financial year 21 for procurement from domestic manufacturers. Okay, so this will boost the domestic manufacturing. Coming to other steps that have been taken, like the recent draft policy of this defense production and export promotion policy 2020, जिसका पर्पस है to boost the local manufacturing to the level of $25 billion, and even it includes the exports of $5 billion in aerospace and defense goods, so that India can export whatever they have manufactured, right? And this should be done over the next 5 years up to 2025. The overall is 1,75,000 crore. So this is the aim under this recent draft policy, and several other steps have been taken of reform, like intellectual property reforms have been there, taxation reforms have been there, insolvency and bankruptcy. So why these reforms are mentioned here? Because they are showing us that the ease of doing business has been improved in India. So it could be easy for the defense global players to come and manufacture in India. Okay, this original equipment manufacturers could produce in India under best options, right? We can provide them with better facilities. Then the government is also has proposed in budget two defense corridors, two defense industrial corridors, one in UP near this Agra Jhansi region, and the second one is in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so both of these under this 20,000 crore, with this 22,000 crore rupees over the next 5 years. So this will also give support to our policies of manufacturing, right? Then one more step that has been taken recently is about 101 negative import list items. That is the items which will have no imports. Okay, so this has been announced recently by Mr. Modi, and even Mr. Rajnath Singh came with this rhetoric recently. Okay, so this will be expanded, this negative list will be expanded in future, और इससे फ़ायदा ये होने वाला है कि हमारे जो imports हैं वो कम हो जाएंगे, and the government or the PSUs or the military will be better able to procure it from the domestic manufacturers. And this will, in overall scenario, this will boost two things. First is make in India, and the second thing is that it would boost jobs in India. Okay, so both of these things would take boost with this policy initiatives, right? Moving to our next topic, which is solar tariff in India unlikely to beat Gulf rate. Actually, a recent report आई है, and that report is claiming that the tariff rate in Gulf, the parity, okay, the rate parity in Gulf could go to much lower levels compared to the tariffs in India, solar tariffs in India, and Indian tariffs could be twice as high as those in the Gulf region. Okay, so how this had been achieved in Gulf region, because this presently actually as per the present data, we are having one of the cheapest solar tariff in the world. India is having, right? We saw that around rupees 3 per unit, less than rupees 3 per unit was the tariff rate under that Riva plant. Okay, Riva plant, so Riva solar plant, which was recently inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But the Gulf countries could have further lower tariffs in this Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and the reason for this has been given that they have lower capital rate. Okay, they can have long dated financing, they have major tax concession, they have cheap land availability, they have lower cost of US dollar as denominated in their currency, they have lower cost for US dollar. So they could have on these on the back of these supports, these Gulf countries could have lower rate of solar tariff, which could go up to 1.35 to 1.8 cents US cents. Okay, cents is actually a sub term, a small quantity for dollar. Okay, so 1.35 to 1.8 per kilowatt hour or per unit of electricity. Okay, so this could be the tariff rate in Gulf countries, while India it could be double. It is actually double for now, 3.14 to 3.25 kilowatt per kilowatt hour. Okay, so yes, India is having one of the lowest rates, but the Gulf countries could witness more. And as per this report, energy think tank analysis, they say that this solar tariff, they may continue to decline, right, with this 5 to 10% annual declines over the coming decade, given the competitiveness has been increasing in the sector, and the new technologies, new economic technologies have been occurring, okay, taking place. So we hope that in India also we have better parity and better more renewable energy under this electricity production, right? Coming to this topic, that the Great Andaman tribe. So इस topic में वैसे तो बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है. It was only about that 5 members of this Great Andaman tribe tested positive for COVID-19. So ये थोड़ा सा है different. But the thing is that I wanted to tell you is the PVTDs, this particularly vulnerable tribal group. The Great Andamanese tribe जो है is a kind of PVTG, and we have only 75 such PVTDs in India. Okay, and here they have mentioned that they are using the Jeru language among themselves, and there are 5 other PVTDs in this Andaman region. which are the Great Andamanese, the Jarawas, the Onges, the Shompanese and North Sentinelese. तो ये वो डाटा है जिसके लिए मैंने इस आर्टिकल को आज कवर किया है, that you must know about the PVTDs, okay, at least the famous PVTDs. जैसा कि अंडमान में तो बहुत ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज दे कम इन न्यूज़, ये अक्सर दे ऑफन कम इन न्यूज़, राइट, अक्सर न्यूज़ में आते रहते हैं. So you must remember the names of PVTDs in this Andaman region: the Great Andamanese, Jarawas, Onges, Shompanese, and North Sentinelese. Okay, then we should move towards our next topic, which is China fires missiles into South China Sea. So actually, what happened recently that one of China's military aircraft carrier was moving in this South China Sea. Okay, we know that this is the South China Sea, and this is 9-dash line, which area been claimed by the China of South China Sea. South China Sea. So recently what happened, the US has been sending their aircraft. This Lockheed U-2 aircraft had flown to the no-fly zone. Okay, China has mentioned this region as no-fly zone, and the US U-2 aircraft recently flown through this zone. So, and the problem arises when the China was actually conducting this in this 4 sea, Bohai Sea, Yellow Sea, East China Sea, South China Sea. They are there here. This Yellow Sea, this is South China Sea, this is East China Sea. So in this region they were conducting a military drill, and during this fire drill, this aircraft crossed this no-fly zone. So the Chinese are saying that such kind of action from US could trigger a misunderstanding and misjudgment, and could even lead to air and maritime accidents. So US should ignore doing such kind of activity as per the Chinese government. Okay, and they have also fired these 2 missiles into South China Sea as a warning to US, so as to not escalate the tensions between the 2 countries and not to go against the Chinese claims. तो on the one hand China खुद hegemonic है, वो कहता है कि साउथ चाइना सी पूरा हमारा है. दे आर क्रिएटिंग दीज आर्टिफिशियल आइलैंड, पार्सल आइलैंड एंड दिस पार्टली आइलैंड एक्सेट्रा. तो एक तो वो खुद हेजेमोनिक है, एंड ऑन द सेकेंड हैंड दे आर सेइंग दैट यूएस शुड नॉट बी हेजेमोनिक. अभी रिसेंटली क्या हुआ, यूएस हैज सैंक्शन्ड 24 कंपनीज ऑफ चाइना फॉर देयर रोल इन हेल्पिंग द चाइनीज मिलिट्री टू कंस्ट्रक्ट एंड मिलिटराइज दिस साउथ चाइना सी और इंटरनेशनली इम्पोर्टेंट एरिया with the artificial islands, right? तो यहाँ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इंटरनेशनल सी लाइन्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशंस हैं. I told you yesterday that there are $3 trillion per year of trade passes through this region. तो ये important है region, but the problem is with these 2 global superpowers. Okay, बाकी तो लोगों का stake normal है. UN clause, the body on this international sea laws, it has said that China should not claim this. It has went against this claim of China of the South China Sea, लेकिन China ने मानने से मना कर दिया. Okay, so in this scenario the thing is that the international law should be respected, freedom of navigation should be respected, right? And both these countries can solve out their issues rather than hurting the global stability. Okay, it is true that other countries in the region, the Philippines, Vietnam and other like this Malaysia, Indonesia, they have their particular share in the South China Sea, and China should admit it. While for US, they should avoid being extra regional player. Okay, they should avoid being the extra regional player, जिससे कि tensions और बढ़े. But both these superpowers are not taking the responsibility in a serious manner. So some kind of global arrangement is required so that a proper action could be taken, right? In the longer run, for the global stability, a better global arrangement is required. यहाँ पर चाइना का कहना है कि यूएस थोड़ा सा हेजेमोनिक है because they are imposing sanctions on Chinese companies, and they cannot do so under that international relationship laws because these companies are working for their own country. Okay, these are working for their own country, and this is against the basic governing laws of international relations. Okay. Then the next topic is, this is the last topic my friends, and I hope this from women like All India Hair and Beauty Association, Indian Women Entrepreneur Association. तो यहाँ पर ये जो एसोसिएशन है, दिस कहना है कि दैट द नंबर ऑफ वुमेन ओन्ड एंटरप्राइजेस इज अबाउट 12% ऑफ टोटल MSMEs इन इंडिया, और ये लार्जली इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर में है. ओके, यू नो दैट इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर जहाँ पर प्रॉपर पेपर वर्क नहीं होता. Okay, they are not registered, they are not particularly recognized. So in that scenario, when they are informal, they are not recognized and thus are not able to gain from various government and public assistance programs, right? They have been facing with the problem of this logistic input material, not able to deliver the products. They have this increased responsibility of domestic care given this lockdown, and they are also facing social pressure and have limited family support. So actually these are the things that you can write in the limitations of women entrepreneurs. There are also several other limitations like this pink collar jobs, or the ceiling has been there, right? This board has urged the government to bring these women entrepreneurs under priority sector law lending norms with concessional rates of loan. Okay, they could be brought under this PSL norms, priority sector loan lending norms, जिसमें कि 40% लोन्स जो हैं वो बैंक को इस सेक्टर को देने होते हैं. ओके, दैट प्राइमरी सेक्टर. Then there could be this tax holidays, a mentor network could be provided to women entrepreneurs, then they could be selected as vendor. Okay, a part or a share could be given to them to act as a vendor for public sector units or government departments. So kind of reserve procurement system. Okay, then there could be separate industrial estates for them so that they can feel secure and safe in that environment and can work in an open environment, right? So that they can utilize the full potential of their own. So yes, this report is showing a very good solution for how women entrepreneur could take on and how they can help in overall revival of the economy. Okay, moving towards the next topic, which is the last topic actually, India-ASEAN trade. Actually, this is only to show you that India-ASEAN trade has been there, and which is around $81 billion per year, but recently it has shown the first time 5% degrowth and come down to $77 billion. So our Commerce and Industry Minister, he said that we need to remove the non-tariff barrier and ensure the sanctity of rule of origin. Rule of origin का जनरली मतलब ये है कि कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स सपोज चाइना से में बनते हैं और साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में आते हैं, यहाँ असेंबल होकर के इंडिया को सेंड कर दिए जाते हैं. So they are exported as a product from Southeast Asian countries, but they were originated in China. Okay, so Indian government want that such rule of origin should be these rule of origin norms should be ensured. They should be clearly listed. Otherwise, this could create problems in trade and commerce within these. Okay, the bilateral relation could hamper. So the thing is that the government or the minister, our Piyush Goyal, the Trade, Commerce and Industry Minister, has been asking the ASEAN countries to remove the non-tariff barriers, ensure sanctity of rules of origin, and open that market for improving the two-way trade and commerce, so that such decline could be averted in our bilateral trade ties. Okay, to create more global trusted regional value chains, as India and ASEAN have not fully realized the potential of their trade. They could do better because the South Asian giants or tigers, they have been doing, they are exporting or having trade relations better with China and US than compared to India, and they are even the major exporters. Okay, we all know that Thailand has been performing very good, even the Vietnam is now performing good. So India and ASEAN have good potential for trade relation, and to utilize this we need to remove the trade barriers, the sanctity of rule of origin should be promoted, and open market should be expanded so that we could realize this win-win situation for both. Okay, with this I would like to thank you for the day, my friends, and I hope I contributed to your knowledge. Okay, have a nice day.